Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have access to an endless reservoir of energy, confidence, and results, while others, perhaps even more talented or educated, find themselves stuck in a loop of hesitation and mediocrity? It is not about luck, and it is certainly not about being born with a special gene for success. The difference lies in a single, invisible switch that controls every thought, every emotion, and every action you take. Today, we are going to expose exactly what that switch is, how to find it in the dark, and how to flip it on to illuminate a life you currently only dream about. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we are going to dismantle the psychological barriers that have held you back for years. We are diving deep into the transformative mind of Tony Robbins. Born in Glendora, California in 1960, Robbins rose from working as a janitor to becoming the world's premier life and business strategist.
He has coached presidents of nations, billionaire hedge fund managers, and champion athletes. But his most important work is not with the elite. It is with people just like you, who know there is more to life than just paying bills and waiting for the weekend. Robbins popularized neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, bringing complex psychological tools to the masses in a way that is simple, visceral, and immediately effective. He teaches that success is 80% psychology and only 20% mechanics. You can have the best strategy in the world to make $1 million, but if your psychology is flawed, if your internal state is weak, you will never execute that strategy. You will self-sabotage. You will procrastinate. You will find a way to fail because your mind is not aligned with your goal. Let us begin with the core concept that governs your entire existence, the state of mind. Think about a time when you did something incredibly stupid.
Maybe you snapped at a loved one, or you made a terrible financial decision, or you ate food you knew would make you sick. Afterward, you probably asked yourself, why did I do that? That is not who I am. And you are right. It is not who you are. It was the state you were in. When you are in a state of anger, fear, or exhaustion, you access a different set of resources than when you are in a state of love, confidence, or vitality. The version of you that exists when you are tired and stressed is functionally dumber than the version of you that is rested and inspired. The secret to winning, therefore, is not just learning new skills, but mastering the ability to change your state instantly. Most people live in a reactive state. They wait for the world to make them feel good. They think, if I win the lottery, then I will be happy. If my boss gives me a raise, then I will feel confident. If my partner apologizes, then I will feel loved.
This is the path to misery because it places the remote control of your life in the hands of external events. Tony Robbins teaches us that you must become the architect of your state, not the victim of your environment. You must generate the energy you need from within, regardless of what is happening around you. But how? How do you feel confident when your bank account shows $0? How do you feel energetic when you have had 4 hours of sleep? It comes down to the triad of state: physiology, focus, and language. Let us break down the first and most powerful pillar: physiology. This is the fastest way to change how you feel. It is impossible to feel depressed if you are standing tall, looking up, breathing deeply, and smiling. Try it right now. Sit up straight, put your shoulders back, take a massive breath in. It changes your biochemistry instantly.
Scientific research has shown that holding a power pose for just 2 minutes can increase testosterone, the dominance hormone, and decrease cortisol, the stress hormone. Your body leads, and your emotion follows. Most people have a physiology of defeat. They walk with their heads down, they breathe shallowly, they slump in their chairs. This physical posture sends a signal to the brain that says, we are in danger, or we are low status. And the brain responds by producing chemicals that make you feel anxious and uncertain. Imagine you are about to walk into a job interview or a negotiation where you want to ask for $10,000 more a year. If you walk in with a slumped posture, shallow breathing, and a weak handshake, you have already lost. Not because you are not qualified, but because your state screams uncertainty. Humans are hardwired to follow certainty. If you are uncertain about your own value, why should anyone else believe in it?
By radically altering your physiology before you enter that room, by jumping up and down, by breathing rapidly, by putting a fierce smile on your face in the bathroom mirror, you change the neural pathways firing in your brain. You walk in with a vibration of certainty that is palpable. This is not faking it. This is hacking your biological software to perform at its peak. Before we move to the second pillar, I want to take a brief moment to connect with you. If you are finding value in this breakdown of human potential, if you are tired of settling for less than you deserve, please take a second to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It might seem like a small click to you, but it is a massive signal to us that we are serving you well. It helps us continue to bring you this high-level content for free. Join our community of winners who are committed to growth. Now, let us get back to the mechanics of your mind. The second pillar of the triad is focus. Whatever you focus on, you feel. If you focus on what you do not have, you will feel lack. If you focus on what you have lost, you will feel grief. If you focus on what you have, you will feel gratitude. It sounds simple, but in the modern world, our focus is constantly being hijacked. We are bombarded with news about economic collapse, wars, and impending doom. If you spend your day scrolling through social media, focusing on how perfect everyone else's life looks compared to yours, you are programming your brain for misery. You are training your reticular activating system, a part of your brain that filters information, to look for evidence that you are not enough. Let us talk about money and focus. Many people have a fear of poverty. They lay awake at night thinking, what if I lose my job? What if the economy crashes? What if I cannot pay the rent? This focus on the worst-case scenario creates a state of paralysis. When you are paralyzed by fear, you cannot see opportunity.
You could be standing right next to the investment of a lifetime, or a business idea that could generate $100,000, but you will not see it because your focus is locked on survival, not expansion. Tony Robbins asks a powerful question. What would happen if you shifted your focus from what you fear to what you want to create? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I use this? Quality questions create a quality life. If you ask a terrible question like, why am I so unlucky? Your brain will find an answer. It will say, because you are stupid, or because you do not deserve success. But if you ask, how can I add more value to the marketplace right now? Your brain will start searching for solutions. Consider the data on happiness and income. Studies often suggest that beyond a certain baseline, where basic needs are met, more money does not equate to significantly more happiness. However, the feeling of progress does. The feeling that you are moving forward, that you are growing, is fundamental to human fulfillment. If you have $10 million in the bank, but you feel stagnant and purposeless, you will be miserable. Conversely, if you are starting from zero, but you are making progress every single day, focusing on your growth and your contribution, you will feel alive. Focus on progress, not just the destination. The third pillar is language, or meaning. This includes the words you use when you talk to others, but more importantly, the words you use when you talk to yourself. The labels you put on your experience become your experience. If you say, I am devastated, you create a biochemical storm in your body that matches the word devastated. If instead you say, I am a little bit disappointed, the emotional intensity drops significantly. Words are like containers for emotion. If you have a limited vocabulary, you have a limited emotional life. People with a rich emotional life use a wide variety of words to describe their feelings. They do not just feel good or bad. They feel ecstatic, curious, determined, grateful, intrigued, puzzled. Think about the phrase, I am broke. That is a heavy, permanent-sounding statement. It implies an identity. Now change the language to, I am currently experiencing a temporary cash flow challenge. Do you feel the difference? The situation is the same, the lack of funds, but the meaning has shifted from a permanent identity crisis to a temporary problem to be solved. One state leads to depression, the other leads to strategic thinking. We must be guardians of the language we use. Eliminate words like try, hate, and impossible from your vocabulary. Replace I have to do this with I get to do this. I have to go to work makes you a slave. I get to go to work makes you grateful for the opportunity to earn and contribute.
It is a subtle shift that changes the entire texture of your day.
Now, I want to issue a challenge to you based on these teachings. It is a simple challenge, but it is not easy. For the next 7 days, I challenge you to go on a mental diet. The rules are simple. You are not allowed to dwell on a negative thought for more than 90 seconds. Negative thoughts will come, that is natural, but you cannot invite them in for tea. You cannot pull up a chair and let them stay. When a thought of fear, doubt, or anger arises, you have 90 seconds to interrupt it. Change your physiology. Stand up, shake it out, breathe. Change your focus. Look at something beautiful. Remember a success. Change your language. Reframe the problem. If you dwell on it for more than 90 seconds, you must start the 7 days over again. This challenge is designed to break the pattern of habitual negativity. It forces you to become aware of your state and proves to you that you have the power to change it.
Let us deepen our understanding of belief systems, which Tony Robbins describes as the commands to the nervous system. A belief is nothing more than a feeling of certainty about something. If you believe you are intelligent, you feel certain about it. If you believe you are a failure, you feel certain about that too. Most of our beliefs are generalizations we made in the past, often based on painful experiences. Maybe you failed a math test when you were 8 years old, and someone told you that you were bad with numbers. Now, 30 years later, you are terrified of looking at your finances because you carry a limiting belief that says, "I am not good with money." This belief acts as a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you believe you are bad with money, you avoid looking at it, which leads to bad financial management, which reinforces the belief that you are bad with money. To break a limiting belief, you must first shake the table legs that support it. You must question it.
Is it really true that you are bad with numbers? Or were you just unprepared for one test 3 decades ago? Have you successfully counted change? Have you successfully managed a budget for a grocery trip? Find references that contradict the limiting belief. Then you must create a new, empowering belief to replace the old one. Is it really true that you are bad with numbers? Or were you just unprepared for one test 3 decades ago? Have you successfully counted change? Have you successfully managed a budget for a grocery trip? Find references that contradict the limiting belief. Then you must create a new, empowering belief to replace the old one. Instead of "I am bad with money," adopt the belief "I am a fast learner and I am committed to mastering financial literacy." Repetition is key here. You must condition this new belief with emotional intensity. You cannot just mumble it. You must shout it, feel it, embody it. This is why incantations are so powerful. Unlike affirmations, which can be passive, incantations involve your whole body and voice. Think about the statistical reality of the world we live in. We are living in the most abundant time in human history.
Even a person living below the poverty line in a developed nation today has access to more information, better healthcare, and more convenience than a king did 500 years ago. Yet depression and anxiety are at all-time highs. Why? Because we have traded our internal power for external comfort. We have become soft. We expect everything to be easy. Tony Robbins reminds us that the path of least resistance leads to a life of least existence. Friction is necessary for growth. Muscles only grow when they are torn. Character is only built when it is tested. Do not pray for an easier life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Let us discuss the concept of the 6 human needs that drive all behavior. Every single person on this planet, regardless of culture or background, is driven by these 6 needs. The first 4 are the needs of the personality: certainty, uncertainty or variety, significance, and connection or love.
The last 2 are the needs of the spirit: growth and contribution. Understanding these needs explains why people do what they do. Certainty is the need to feel safe, to know what is coming next. We all need a base level of certainty to function. If you do not know where your next meal is coming from, you cannot focus on anything else. However, if you have too much certainty, you get bored. That is where the second need comes in: uncertainty or variety. We need surprise, we need challenge, we need the unknown.
This seems like a paradox, but life is a dance between the need for stability and the need for adventure. The third need is significance. Every human being needs to feel important, special, or needed. People find significance in many ways. Some achieve it by building a billion-dollar company. Others achieve it by collecting the most academic degrees. But be careful. Some people achieve significance by having the worst problems.
Have you ever met someone who competes to see who is more sick or who has had a harder day? They are meeting their need for significance by being the martyr. It is a destructive way to meet a positive need. The fourth need is connection and love. We all crave it, but many people settle for connection because love is too scary. Love requires vulnerability. Connection can be just a conversation or a shared interest. Those first four needs are met by everyone in some way. You will find a way to meet them, either constructively, neutrally, or destructively. You can get certainty by working hard and saving money, or you can get certainty by never leaving your house and controlling every variable. You can get variety by traveling to new places, or you can get variety by using drugs and alcohol to change your state. The goal is to meet your needs in ways that are sustainable and empowering.
But the true fulfillment, the kind that makes you wake up excited every morning, comes from the last two needs, growth and contribution. If you are not growing, you are dying. It does not matter how much money you have, how many relationships you have, or how famous you are. If you are not improving, expanding your capacity, or learning something new, you will feel empty. And finally, contribution. Life is not about me. It is about we. The secret to living is giving. When you get out of your own head and focus on helping someone else, your own suffering disappears. You cannot be fearful and grateful at the same time. Contribution forces you into a state of abundance. It tells your brain, I have enough to give, therefore I am abundant. Applying this to your financial life is transformative. Most people operate from a scarcity mindset. They hoard, they protect, they fear losing. But true wealth creates a cycle of circulation. When you provide massive value to others, value flows back to you. Money is simply a byproduct of value creation. If you want to make more money, stop thinking about how to get money and start thinking about how to give more value. How can you serve more people? How can you solve more complex problems? The market pays you based on the value you bring to it, not on how much you need. This is a hard truth for some, but it is liberating once you accept it. It shifts your focus from your needs to your contributions. Now, think about your daily rituals. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Tony Robbins utilizes a process called priming every morning. It involves breathing exercises, practicing gratitude, visualizing success, and focusing on 3 goals for the day. It takes 10 to 15 minutes, but it sets the trajectory for the next 16 hours. If you wake up and immediately grab your phone to check emails or social media, you are starting your day in reaction mode. You are letting the world dictate your state. By creating a morning ritual where you consciously cultivate gratitude and strength, you are putting on your armor before you step onto the battlefield of life. Consider the power of visualization. This is not just daydreaming, it is mental rehearsal. Athletes use it constantly. They see themselves making the shot before they even step on the court. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, your brain cannot tell the difference between the visualization and reality. It builds the neural pathways as if you have already done it. So when you actually do it, it feels familiar. You have been there before in your mind. If you want to be wealthy, you must mentally rehearse managing wealth, feeling wealthy, and being generous. If you want a loving relationship, you must visualize what that looks like and feels like, not just hope for it. Hope is a beggar. Strategy and execution are kings. Let us go back to the idea of the gap. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is often filled with fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of success. Fear is just a signal. It is your brain warning you of potential pain. But most of the time, that pain is imaginary. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real.
You must learn to dance with your fear. Do not try to eliminate it. That is impossible. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting in spite of it. When you feel fear, it usually means you are about to grow. It means you are stepping into the unknown. Lean into it. Another critical aspect is the quality of your peer group. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
If you hang out with 5 people who are constantly complaining about the economy, who are unhealthy, and who have no ambition, you will inevitably become the 6th. It is a law of social gravity. Conversely, if you surround yourself with people who are playing the game of life at a higher level than you, they will pull you up. Their standards will become your standards. Their